Um, well, my journey to becoming an artist, I think it really started when I was a child. I grew up in rural New Brunswick in a family of 9 children, and I was, I think, quite a sensitive kid. I would venture out into the forests and fields around my home, and no one would really notice I was missing because there were so many children. And I learned about the process of drawing. When I spent time out in the forest and in the fields, looking at the structures of trees and using my hands to kind of get to know the structures, I think that sparked something in me that was quite deep and that stayed with me throughout the years. When I was 12, I acquired my first cheap set of paints, of oil paints, and that opened up the, the world of color, the world of the material of layering paint, and that further provoked my interest in engaging with the world through my hands, I guess, and trying to understand the world, the natural world, using my hands. So at that point, I guess by adolescence, I had settled on the fact that I wanted to pursue a lifetime of trying to make sense of the world using my hands. And that's what I did. I went to NASCAD University in Halifax and did an undergraduate degree in fine art and painting. And then I went to Calgary, the University of Calgary, across the country to the mountains to pursue a Master's of Fine Art degree. Eric Cameron is a Canadian artist. He was teaching at NASCAD when I was there as an undergrad, and I sort of followed him out to the University of Calgary. His work is very much involves attention to process. So the act of it's almost a ritualistic act of making, and the outcome of that ritualistic act is the art, as opposed to the ritualistic act supporting the art. And I think that stayed with me for a long time. After grad school, I picked up oil paint again. I didn't do much painting in grad school. Really, I used everything but traditional art materials. And and when you pick up oil paints, it's a little like picking up a violin. It's a lifetime of learning to master this material, to really understand how to use the material to engage with the world around you. I was painting the figure at that point. I moved to Toronto and was a figure painter, had exhibitions here. I would describe my style then as kind of neo-Baroque, and the habit of obscuring the surface of the painting. So I would create the illusion of the form, and then I would start obscuring that surface after I spent all this time developing the image. That started then. This was in the 1990s. In 2004, no, in 1997, sorry, I moved to Borneo, which is in Southeast Asia. There's a small country there. And I taught art to largely Islamic children, which was an interesting endeavor. And of course, painting the figure, the human body, the nude human body in an Islamic sultanate is illegal. So I had to change what I was doing. What I did is I started to focus on the texture and surfaces of the human body and baskets, and of course started to explore the density of the jungle, the rainforest in Borneo. And I think that's when I really was drawn to the power of the natural environment. That's when this fascination started with engaging with the dense living environment of the forest. In this case, it was a rainforest. I came back from Borneo in 2004, and I was living near the Niagara Escarpment, where I still live, very near the Bruce Trail, and spent a lot of time in the forest, walking the Bruce Trail. In the summers, attending the forests in northern Ontario, and continuing to use my hands to engage with the world in the forest. So that's kind of my story in terms of how I got from rural New Brunswick to here.